I'm of course looking forward a lot to the two games in the weekend, and of course it would be really great to beat my next club in this weekend also.
Because when he shoots from the wing, the goalkeepers are a little bit scared, you know.
Yes.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Into the net.
She does it again.
Yes, and Flensburg are the champions of Europe. For something here. What a game! Across the keeper. What a comeback!
And then it is time to talk handball again, everybody. It's getting exciting in the European club competitions. We just crowned the female winners, and we are about to crown the male winners of the EHF European League, who will follow Füchse Berlin on the on the throne, who will become the princess of Europe, because as we were talking about the princesses of Storhammer, we'll see who follows Füchse Berlin, or maybe they will even defend their title. Let's see what the last title was that this guy here was defending. Víctor, Tomàs?
Hello. Actually, the last game I played was the final of Copa del Rey in the domestic competition, Spanish competition, 8th of March, 2020. So it was a domestic competition. It was La Copa del Rey.
Fair enough. And you defended that title?
Yes, we did. We ended up winning the championship, the trophy, and I didn't know it, by that time.
Difficult.
Yeah,
word.
it was my last game. It was my last game.
Oh yeah, fair enough. And I mean, right before COVID kicked in, that was just about that time there. But yeah, fair enough. And then on the other side, he surely defended some titles here as well. What was the last one? Martin Vilstrup.
The most tanned person in Denmark.
You can see that the tan is getting better, guys, huh?
Yeah.
You can see it.
I'm not sure where exactly.
The last title I defended, I don't think any beach handball club competitions count, so I guess it was...
They do.
They do?
Yeah.
They do? Okay, I just won the Jaron Cup, one of the biggest qualifications tournaments to the EBT finals in Croatia 2 weeks ago.
I just love the title, Bengt. I just love the title. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Really did. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Put it again. Come on.
Otherwise, it has to be doesn't know sunscreen. I know After Sun, that's for sure. That's the only one that I know, But
that's the one that you need the most. That's for sure. The Jaron Cup was the last one that you defended.
Yeah, it has to be. Otherwise, with the national team, the European Championship. But
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know whether I ever defended the title, but soon to be EHF Media Tournament. That's for sure.
Exactly.
That is for sure.
Exactly. MVP.
Well, we'll see about that. But then on the other side, we'll do a little lookout for the EHF finals that are just about to start in Hamburg the upcoming weekend, and it's getting exciting. We've got 3 out of 4 German teams starting at the EHF finals. Who you got winning, boys? Víctor, who's your favorite?
Oof, that's a tough one. That's a really, really tough one because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, if you would, then it would be boring.
Yeah, no. I think I'm gonna go with Flensburg, but it just a guess, because I think that Dynamo they can beat Flensburg in the semifinal. They can do it. Dynamo can win the trophy. Actually, that team is made to play the Champions League. So actually, at the beginning of this season, when we all knew that they were not getting the spot in the Champions League, of course, their main goal was to win this European League. So actually, I really think that they have a Champions League team, but Flensburg has it as well. So I'm gonna go with Flensburg, but it's just to put some team in the top of my list.
Interesting. Martin, how about yourself?
Oh, I actually agree it's difficult. I would definitely say that Rhein-Neckar Löwen are the least favorite, but on the other hand, they just kicked out Sporting that won against Fischer Berlin. But I don't think you can do the math. Like, the most common sense for me would be Fischer Berlin, because they are in some way out of the title in the German Bundesliga. I would say that Magdeburg is going to take that one. And if they need one, then they need to focus on this one. But on the other hand, I also think that their depth in the squad are not as big as maybe some of the other teams. You know, they play a lot with Gisel, Anderson, then we saw Lichtlein and all those players. But to me, the most common sense would be Fischer Berlin. But I actually agree with Víctor that Dynamo is, to me, and I don't know if you can say black horse, you know, because as Víctor said, it's a Champions League team, and but I would say Fischer Berlin is the most common. That would make sense to me if I said them.
Yeah, if I would have to guess a favorite here, for me it would be Füchse Berlin as well. I mean, they were in the race for the German Bundesliga title for quite some time here. Basically, just lost it in the very last steps. Still not out of the race, but if Magdeburg just does its homework, then we are going to see Bundesliga winners SC Magdeburg. But still, those are the reigning champions of the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League, and we're still talking about Füchse Berlin holding track onto them, and that's why I do think that Füchse are going into this weekend as the favorites, and one even has to say that they had the hardest path. So they kicked out Nantes in the quarterfinals, and they even already faced Bucharest, but they won it. So in the group stage, they had Bucharest for 2 times and won both legs. And that's where I would say that the strongest opponents, in my opinion, they do have the strongest squad. That's what makes them favorites, and they're going to take it home.
Yeah, the theory is beautiful. It's there. You know, the numbers are there. But this is a sports. It's not mathematics. And then for these rules that you just said, I should have had 6 or 7 Champions League in my CV, and I only have. I only have 3.
Only 3.
I only have 3 Champions League titles. Sorry, guys.
But you're right. You're right. But I also I think that if I have to look at, you know, in terms of favorites, I also think Fischer Berlin has you cannot say the easiest one, but it's a tough one between Dynamo and Flensburg. I don't know if that has anything to say on when it comes to playing the final, you know. Let's see if Fischer have the easiest semi-final. But if I look on the paper, I would say that Rhein-Neckar are, you know, the least favorites of the 4 teams, also having in mind with the domestic league.
I'll actually put them on my number 3 in the hot ranking. I have Bucharest below them, so I do think that the Füchse are favorites, and after that I see Flensburg kind of it. Rhein-Neckar Löwen on 3rd, and Bucharest in the 4th spot. But let's stay here at Füchse Berlin for a second, because let's analyze them. Martin, what are the strengths of Füchse Berlin?
Oh, I think they got a couple of players in the team that just keep delivering. And also, if you look at the top scorer title in the Bundesliga, then Lasse Andersen is there, Hans Lindberg is there, Matthias Gitzel is there. And also, I think it's very difficult for the opponents to deal with the Nils Lichtlein, Gitzel and Anderson combo. And I've also, defensively, they have Marcenic. I think he's absolutely beast, and I know he gets a lot of 2-minute suspensions, but you know he covers a lot of space. And then also goalkeeper wise, I actually just think they have a really strong team, you know. Also on the left wing, Jerry Tolbring, and I just don't think the depth within the squad is that big with Füchse Berlin. But as long as Gitzel and Anderson can play 60 minutes, then this season they have been really, really, really hard to control. And we didn't see Lasse Andersen at the European Championship, but I think he's going to be in the team for the Olympic Games from Denmark. So that also says a lot. Yeah, I think the combo Lichtlein Gisel is very interesting with a left-handed playmaker. You don't see it that often. The flow, and also defensively, you have to in some way adjust when you're facing a left-handed playmaker than compared to a right-handed playmaker. And it will also give a naturally flow that maybe more from right to left than a lot of teams you will see it from left to right because they have a right-handed playmaker.
Yeah, Víctor, do you agree with Martin's analysis about the strong points?
Yeah, I agree with everything. I think that Fuchs Berlin, they have shown us what they are capable of, but also they have shown us that if they are not 100%, they can lose, because the Sporting showed that to everybody. So I think it's up to them. It's up to Fuchs Berlin to be focused and mentally prepared to 2 tough games and to take it home, because I think it's the team that has shown themselves more solid this season. But as I said, this is not mathematics. No, it's a sport, so everything can happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it is up to the Fuchs if they can play up to their best level, but it is up to their key and star player, Matthias Gisel, there as well, because of course you're looking at the EHF World Player of the Year. Of course you're looking at the guy who just did not become the most valuable player at the EHF Euro 2024, but he became, was he top scorer? I think he was top scorer, right? Gisel.
No, I think Martin Costa was top scorer. Yeah, or maybe they both were. Both the same goals, actually.
Something in that direction. So, Matthias Gisel is a central role, and if he can actually play up to those expectations, I do think that there's no way around Fuchs Berlin. But let's see. I mean, Víctor, you said this is sports, and usually we always talk about it that once you arrive in Cologne, the chances are 25%. Would you agree for this tournament as well?
Yeah. I think that there is favorites as always, because there is a reason why the teams start playing on September. And they put themselves in the position to be winning titles in June or in May in this case. So at this point, everything is 25%, but of course there is favorites. But Rhein-Neckar Löwen, they showed themselves not very solid this season. Actually, I think in the Bundesliga they have a much better squad than the position that they are in the table at this moment, but they are perfectly capable to have a good weekend and win the trophy as well. So for me at this moment, it's even for the 4 teams.
You go with that, Martin?
Definitely that they should be higher in the Bundesliga than they are at the moment. But it's also, I was just thinking about 3 German teams being played in Hamburg. It's also interesting to see, spectator-wise, how many is going to be there. And also the atmosphere is probably going to be unbelievable. And maybe that's a little bit advantageous for the German teams compared to Dynamo. But Rhein-Neckar Löwen, they can surprise sometimes, with Appelgren, David Spade. They actually have 3 great goalkeepers. And I think the connection between Jori Knorr and Kohlbacher is very, very good. They just rely on a couple of players a lot. And for example, to end it up with Gisel, he's not shooting penalties, and his average per match, I think, is around 8 goals. But what's totally unbelievable for me is his scoring percentage is, 80% or something like that, above that. And that's from a backcourt player. I find that totally unbelievable. But Rhein-Neckar Löwen, they have to surprise me. They play against Fischer Berlin. And I think most of also the Rhein-Neckar Löwen players will agree with me that Fischer are the favorites in this one, but maybe they can take some of the pressure off them, because they also had a season, as Víctor said, that probably in the Bundesliga is not that satisfying, so they're just going to give it 110% in this EHF Final Four, because, they got nothing to lose, and if they qualify, then it's going to be like really, really interesting for them.
Yeah, I just have to double check on that, but I do think that we have somewhere around 280 goals for Matthias Gitzl in the Bundesliga right now, and he doesn't score on penalties, and he doesn't shoot penalties because that is Hans Lindberg territory here for Füchse Berlin. But I mean, it is no secret that Hans Lindberg is leaving the club soon. And if Matthias Gitzl ends up taking over the penalties as well, I mean, how much is he supposed to score? That I almost can't believe that. He is the top scorer in the Bundesliga right now with 248 goals, but no 7-meter goal, and that is unbelievable to my mind.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
And it's also, I think it's historical that a player scored that many goals without shooting penalties. I think I forgot the name. He's from a country in Asia before. I think it was the guy.
Yeah, it was South Korea playing in
South Korean
Gummersbach, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he was the last one that scored a lot of goals without shooting penalties. So it says a lot, But yeah, he is. The crazy thing is that normally the opponents will prepare themselves for whatever Gisle is bringing to the table. They know what he's going to come with. But at the moment, and with some players, they are hard to stop. It's the same with Dikamem also, it's about controlling them in a way that maybe they do a couple of technical mistakes, or you can tire them out throughout the entire game by beating them up, which Germany tried to in the European Championship. We saw it earlier also with Croatia. Dunjak tried to. So the craziest thing that people prepare themselves for whatever he's coming with, but still he succeed. But Gitz is also a type of player that scores a couple of goals on counterattacks. As a backcourt player, he likes to run the fast middle, and he's one of the first guys to run off whenever they get the ball. So that's also a part of his game. But there are players that are just very hard to stop, and Gitzel, Dikamem are some of them. Omaingi could also be a kind of player that's very difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, we are talking a lot about the Bundesliga teams here because they make up 3/4 of the EHF finals here that are just about to come. That always just brings one question back to my mind. Is the EHF European League the proof that the Bundesliga is the strongest league in the world? Because in the peak, the Bundesliga doesn't always win like the Champions League titles. In the peak, there are some clubs that can compete with the Bundesliga teams. But when it comes down to the width, we always see different teams competing in the EHF European League. And this is where the leagues are starting to differ a little, and where the Bundesliga shows its level. That below the peak, they still have such a strong competition that they are even better than all the rest of the leagues in this world. Would you guys agree with that?
I would agree that it's the best league in the world, but we also saw last year Granulär kicking out Flensburg in Flensburg, and you will see some scenarios. But looking at this year, when you have 3 German teams in the European League, 2 German teams in the Truck Scout 24 EHF Final Four, then of course 5 teams out of 8, it makes sense. But it's a strong league, and I would argue about, if we look at the Bundesliga, there could be a couple of teams more than the one that qualifies in the Champions League. So next season we will see Magdeburg and Fischer Berlin probably, but then what about Kiel? What about Flensburg? What about all those teams that are coming after? They could also play Champions League, and the goal for them is to. But to me, the biggest strength of Bundesliga is there are no easy away games. So if you play away in Erlangen, Bergischer, or Stuttgart, it's going to be very hard for them to play away, and that's what also the intensity of the German league. But to me, the German league are the best because of the strength of all the teams. But of course, if you put top 5 in Spain also in the Bundesliga, they would do well as well. Víctor knows more about that.
Yeah, I think that overall the league, because of humble level and of course attendance and everything that is around the sport, is number one. And then I think that there is no doubt that France is number two, quite close to the Bundesliga. But if we speak about only sport-wise, yes, I would agree that Bundesliga is the strongest one. But there is other teams, as Martin said. What Granollers did last season, it was pure magic. Because if we compare the budget of Flensburg and the budget of Granollers, it's just a magic trick what they did last season. So sports-wise, the Spanish teams, for example, I would say Spanish teams mainly, we have to compete with other things. And it's a slowest handball, a more tactical handball with younger players. So it's different. And to add something as well to what you said, Martin, it wouldn't be the first time, for example, if Kiel is winning this Track Scout Final Four, it wouldn't be the first time that the number 4 or number 5 qualified in the Bundesliga is winning the Champions League, because I remember being there and Hamburg winning us in the final, and they were number 5 in the table of Bundesliga. So this is showing to everybody that they are very, very strong as a league.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, as we're just talking about Flensburg right here, there's one advantage, Martin, you were talking about the fans, and Flensburg is rather close to Hamburg. So I think with the A7, it should take you roughly like an hour and a half to go down from Flensburg to Hamburg. And Flensburg is a handball crazy city. So I do expect a lot of fans to come around, and maybe for Flensburg to, present us the biggest crowd here at the EHF Finals. What kind of a difference would that make for Flensburg?
First of all, they're pretty used to playing in big arenas, but it will always be an advantage to, being close to the city that you normally play in. But I think it's going to be even more crazy, having in mind what Víctor and I just said with Granollers last year was a huge disappointment for Flensburg, because it was played in Flensburg last year, the EHF Final Four for men. And they didn't qualify, and they were in Spain against Granollers. They won down there, and then Granollers did some magic, as Víctor said, and won in Flensburg. So I think that's gonna make it even more crazy. And also, from what I heard, from some of the players, they are of course hungry for a title, and they are also not winning the Bundesliga. And for them, it's the chance to win a title. This is the one. So, of course, also the fans is going to back them up as much as they want to. Also saw the game Flensburg against Magdeburg live, where, the crowd in Flensburg, they are demanding results because it's a big club and also have a history. So whenever the club is not delivering as they want to, of different reasons, because there are many strong teams in the league, then they're going to say whatever it comes to their mind. And, so... But the best thing the fans can do is back their team up, and Flensburg has a very strong team. So, of course, it's going to be a benefit for Flensburg to have all the fans in the arena.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Simon Pytlik, talking about Kevin Möller, Johannes Goller, Blas Blagotinšek, Jim Gottfriedson, the list goes on and on and on. Who is the one player to look out for, Víctor?
That's a tough question, because I think that in this competition, I would go for, correct me if I don't pronounce well, Martin, Lasse Möller.
It's acceptable.
I would go with Lasse Möller, because he has shown everybody how strong his shoot is, and it's the player that is scoring the most goals for the team. But of course, we have Simon Pytlik, we have also Teitur Orn Einarsson, we have Gottfridsson. It's a lot of, Flensburg, they have a lot of tools to use on this competition that it would be unfair for the team to go only with one. But if I have to say one name, I would go with Mahler.
He also played a very, very great game against Magdeburg, and I think he was one of the guys who just played with his shoulders down and, trying his best. And I actually think the flow, whenever Lasse Müller played, also talked with him after the game, it was very good for Flensburg, and he's maybe someone that you don't talk that much about because Simon Pytlik is there and Emil Jakobsen is scoring a lot of goals as well. But I would say Flensburg also have the strongest goalkeeper duo to me with Bodic and Kevin Müller, and that can also be a difference in a weekend like that. But on the other hand, they are also struggling a lot with we wish him all the best with Kai Smits being out, and therefore it's also a key signing with the guest that we're having today. It's very important for Flensburg, and I expect him to have a lot of success. But I think they're struggling a little bit over there on the right back position, with all the respect from Einarsson and Sivkovic.
But I mean, that is just some music for the future, because right now he is still playing for the Rhein-Neckar Löwen, and I am pretty sure that he is going to give it his all to take home that trophy. But I mean, he has proven that in the second leg of their quarterfinal, playing against Sporting Lisbon. He scored 10 goals there, and that game was really on the line. I mean, Sporting did run away with the lead for quite some times, even close to the end. They always came back and took the lead with like 4 goals or something in that direction, and it was just crazy to see that Rhein-Neckar Löwen actually stood strong, and they managed to take home the victory, and one of the key factors was Niclas Kirkeløkke. So Martin, what kind of player is he?
To me, Kirkeløkke is someone that's maybe going a little bit under the radar because of they have Gitzel and also had Emil Madsen, who was also the top scorer, and they also have Mads Hoxer, who's playing in Aalborg. So national team-wise, Nikolaj Jakobsen is at the moment using Niclas Kirkeløkke because of his strengths in the defense, and then he's playing the right wing. But we have seen the games where Gitzel needs to rest. I remember a game against France, was it 2 years ago or something like that, where he stood up for himself and, showed that he's a very great player. And, he's also going to Flensburg, so that says a lot. But I actually think Kirkeløkke is a really, really great player. And first of all, he's also a team player. So he's not the one that, takes up most of the space. He's not the most outgoing person, probably. But the way he's been playing for Rhein-Neckar Löwen this season with all the responsibility, I actually think he's been one of the players that's been delivering on a team that I don't think has lived up to what we could expect for Rhein-Neckar Löwen. So, Kirkeløkke is probably not spoke that much about because there are other players that are extremely good.
Yeah,
to me, he's a very good player.
Yeah, I mean, that is a topic.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the Danish national team.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
For me, it's that kind of player that as a little bit, for me, Blas Jans is better player, more solid, but is this complete. Kind of players like Blas Jans, it's really complete and it's always there on duty, what do the coach need? The coach needs that I'm playing right wing and number 2 in defense. Okay, I will do it, and I will give you a very, very good performance.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're looking at Kirkeløkke taking different positions, just think about the World Cup 2023, where he played on the right wing for most of the time, just to give Matthias Gitzel his favorite position in the backcourt, and that just shows how much of a versatile player he is. I will be super interested. I'll give you guys a task for the upcoming minutes that we will be talking with Niclas Kirkeløkke. At the end of the episode, I want a hot take from you guys for the upcoming weekend. So one hot take of what is going to happen. So I am not confronting you guys with this just right now. I want it at the end of the episode so that you guys still have some time to think about it. Let's have some more looks here at the Rhein-Neckar Löwen, because how is it possible to have a season like this from the cup winners of last year, who played a solid season, finished 5th in the Bundesliga? how can they fall down? To the 11th spot, I think it is right now.
Yeah. Víctor, you want to answer that one, but I think for me, it's a team Rhein-Neckar at the moment. Also, with we saw Kirkeløkke going to Flensburg, and there's been some rumors about Jorik Nohr as well, and they need to find the path they want to go in. And we also had Uwe Gensheimer on one of the episodes, and he needs to do something in that, because on the other hand, they still have great players, David Späth, they have Goretzky, Reichmann, Kohlbacher, and they need to find a player that they can build a team around. And they probably hope and thought that it would be Jorik Nohr, but that's not going to happen. So it's been a tough season for them in terms of, because to me it's a team that can surprise and have a very high level when they're performing, but on the other hand, they're not. I don't think they're that solid in terms of the performances they're giving. They could rather win against Flensburg at home and then next week lose against, I don't know, Stuttgart or something like that, and people would not be super surprised.
Eisenach. They lost against Eisenach in Sapp Arena.
Yeah, and to me, Sapp Arena was before, a very tough arena to play in. Maybe it's a couple of years ago when it was really, really tough. But it's weird. Tell me. I agree. Yeah, true. But it is weird, as you said, Bengt, that a team like that and cup winner, sometimes seasons like that also happens. And for whatever reason, that's a good question. But on the other hand, the easy answer would be a strong Bundesliga, but I'm not going to buy that one on this one, because they should be higher in the table. Yeah,
fair, completely fair.
I have an opinion about this. Maybe it's not very political, or it's not very, I don't know, likable. Yeah. But I think that the fact that Andy Schmidt was for so long time in that team, and that team used to play what Andy Schmidt wanted to play, and this was a very specific type of handball. So now when Jorik Nohr took over at this position, in my opinion, they kept doing a similar handball than before, having a different players than before. So I think, for example, that Andy Schmidt is a kind of player that Jorik Nohr is not. Mm-hmm. And I think that Jorik Nohr, he has a huge potential. He knows what I think about him. Has a huge potential as a player. He's showing he's a top class player, because he is. But I think that he could adapt in a different kind of handball, and it would be even better for him. But at this moment, Rhein-Neckar Löwen and also the German national team is playing at this kind of handball, because Jorik Nohr is doing this handball in Rhein-Neckar Löwen, and then he is the starter playmaker in the Mannschaft. So I think that maybe they should adapt a little bit more to a different handball, and they could have better results. That's my opinion. But
there's definitely a lot of pressure also on Jorik Nohr. You also saw it with the interview you did with him, Bengt. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I thought about, if we have in mind how old Jorik Nohr is, I think he likes the responsibility, but it can also sometimes be too much with the national team and Rhein-Neckar Löwen. Also, the interview you did with him, Bengt, he was kind of like almost saying, I'm sorry. And I was like, what are you saying sorry for? You're doing the best you can. But, he was so disappointed, not in himself. Also, you could just feel the pain, if you can say it like that, he had in himself. So it's a lot of
devastated. Yeah, it was absolutely
a lot of pressure for you.
I'm telling you, because I know him since long time ago, because he actually lived in Barcelona and was training and playing with Barcelona. I trained with him, and he knows how much I like his handball. But I think he could play even better in a faster handball. than what Rhein-Neckar Löwen and the German national team is doing at this moment.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, a lot of talks about Rhein-Neckar Löwen right now, and we still haven't touched the last one in this round here. I put them on the 4th spot in the power ranking, but Víctor, you talked them into the final already? Question mark. Do you know what Bucharesti?
No, because if I say that I think that Flensburg is going to win, then
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
No, but they could, of course, they could. I think they have a clear number one in the goal as a goalkeeper, which is Chupara, and he's a top goalkeeper. Played in Kielce, played in Veszprém, so he is a goalkeeper that in a good weekend he could win it all. But then they have a very, very interesting players. They have Dedu, they have Kalin Dedu, which is a very interesting player. Lazar Kukic, that is playing amazing handball. Then they signed also at the beginning of the season Lukas Sindrich. That is always a player that in the league games or in the games that are not so important, he doesn't like to play that much. But in the important weekends, he is going to be there, you know. Then they have Miklos Rosta in the pivot, which is also a big pivot. And the player that for me is giving the balance to the whole team, it's Ali Zain. Ali Zain, it's a top player. He has shown that when he was in Barcelona. And it's a player that I know for sure that Pasky really loves because it's a player that gives you a lot of balance in the team.
Yeah, fair enough. And with all those strong points, Víctor, Martin, do you see any chance that they are getting past Flensburg?
They also has Kasparek on the right back, besides all the names that Víctor said, but they actually have a strong team, you know. It's going to be difficult, as we just spoke about with Flensburg. I think the hunger for them with last season, the disappointment. But to me, this could be two Champions League teams playing against each other. I know Simon Pitlick has been struggling a little bit with broken nose, some ribs, and also a broken foot earlier this season. If he's fit, then I think Flensburg is winning the game. If not, then it's totally open for me. But I think it's going to be close. It's going to be close, but somewhere a 3-goal win or something like that to Flensburg, maximum.
Yeah, fair enough. And that would mean a German final and another German victory here. It has been 17 German victories in the last 20 years. So, yeah, that is quite something, and it could be the 18th in 21.
2003 FC Barcelona.
Why not Champions League? Why not Champions League?
Yeah, I know, because at this moment Spanish league was so tough, but we played the final not even against a German team, against a Russian team.
Fair enough.
Medvedev?
But
Dinamo Astrakhan.
Fair enough.
In some other episode or in that dinner that you guys owe me, I'm going to explain you some stories about Astrakhan.
Fair enough. But actually, dinner is a good topic because the guy that I'm just about to introduce, he's just finished with dinner, and that's where I would say he is here to join us, and then let us just get him in. I am super excited to see you here. Niclas Kirkeløkke, nice to see you. How's it going?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you, and I hope you're too.
So far, so good. Where are you calling from, actually?
We are in Hamburg. We have an away game tomorrow against Kiel, so yeah, we traveled the whole day.
That's actually what I was wondering about, because you texted me that you're on your way to Hamburg right now, but then I looked it up. You guys are playing in Kiel. There are hotels in Kiel as well. Why do you choose Hamburg?
I think the trip will be too long. Then we will be there in like 10 in the evening, and yeah, it would be too short of a time before we have to get to bed, I think.
Yeah, fair
Well,
enough.
Kiel is not the biggest city in Germany. Maybe are fully booked, for the two hotels that they are there,
Yeah, there are coming so many people to our game, so
Yeah, of
everything is
course.
booked.
Yeah, understandable. But yeah, then on the other hand, there are some big tasks coming up, and I'm not talking about the match against Kiel, because you guys are playing the EHF finals. We have been analyzing the situation a little bit already. I do assume that you did too. What are your emotions ahead of the EHF finals that are coming up?
I'm of course looking forward a lot to the two games in the weekend. It's going to be some tough matches, especially with our draw that we have to play against Berlin. That wasn't the easiest one, at least, but yeah, we will do our best.
Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
but as Bengt said, the mathematics are there. If Sporting de Lisboa beat Fuchs Berlin 2 times and you beat Sporting de Lisboa, then it's clear. You have to beat
Yeah,
Fuchs
we
Berlin.
don't even have to play the match. I think we just went.
First of all, I want to say it's gonna a little bit weird to say hi, Niclas, in English, but it's a pleasure to have you. Actually, that's not that often that I say that to you, but it's a pleasure to have you. But I want to know if we're looking also at the domestic league and the Bundesliga, it's probably not been the season that you guys hope for. So, what would it mean for you guys to be able, to get a title as you can with the EHF Final Four?
It would mean a whole lot. Like you said, our season in the Bundesliga have been way below our expectations, and maybe we had a little too high expectations from the beginning since our season last year. But yeah, luckily we had the EHF League to play because we played so much better there than we did in the Bundesliga. I don't know, but it's crazy that sometimes that's such a big difference between when you play in two different leagues. So I know I joked about Berlin being a hard match, but I also really think we have a chance because we have been playing so much better in the European League.
Do you think that the lack of pressure in the European League has something to do with it in comparison to the Bundesliga, where, as you said, maybe you set your goals a little bit high too early? Or maybe not too early, but you set them high also because you had the results from the season before.
Yeah, maybe it's hard to say, and I also think it has something to do with that we played quite good early on in the European League, and then we just took that with us the entire way. And we beat Hannover twice in the European League, quite big. So. Which we haven't been able to do in the Bundesliga. So, there is apparently a big difference. Maybe it's because we can play a little bit more freely in the European League.
Are you extra motivated in terms of where you're gonna play next season, and also having in mind that they also have a role to play in the EHF Final Four?
Yeah,
of course. I am really motivated also because I've been here by the Löwen for like 5 years now. So I want to make a good ending here, and of course it would be really great to beat my next club in this weekend also.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, would you say that looking at your performances in the domestic league and looking at the performances that you are being doing in the European League, would you say are you going in this Final Four as the underdogs or not?
Yeah, I would say we are underdogs, especially when we're playing against Berlin. Also, I think they have clearly been a better team than us the entire season, and so they are the favorites. There's no doubt about that, and I don't think anyone will have us as favorites going into the semifinal.
Yeah, and I mean, you just said it would be cool to be facing your future teammates there, but that would mean that, either Flensburg loses their semifinal or you guys win your semifinal and face them in the final. But to go there, you even had to face some difficulties. So it wasn't the easiest path. You had Sporting Lisbon in your quarterfinal, and especially the second leg, you pulled out no, it was the first leg. You pulled out a monstrous performance with 10 goals there. What did you eat ahead of that game?
The same as I usually do, I think. Some pasta and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a great game, and we didn't expect to play that good, I think, and we should even have won with at least 5 goals, I think. We ended up winning with 3, and then it wouldn't maybe have been so tight in the second leg in Lisbon, but yeah, it was some insane games. The last game in Lisbon was, it was not fun at the end. I really thought that we were gonna go out many times during that game, but luckily we had David in the goal. He had a lot of good saves during that match, so that was something else.
I was just about to say, probably the ending was the only thing that was funny about the match when you're looking back at it, because that's where the party started. But just maybe to switch the vision back up in front again. How are the preparations looking right now? So you guys were recording on Wednesday evening, but after that you have more than a week to prepare for Hamburg. Actually, are you staying up in the north?
No, we are going back home. We also have a game on Sunday against Tomàs. So.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But how's the last week?
Fantastic.
How's the last week ahead of the EHF finals looking?
Yeah, I just think we are gonna train every day from Monday to Friday. Probably going real in depth with our tactic against Berlin the entire week. We can't change the way we play at this point in the season, so we just have to make some small adjustments now. And we do also know how Berlin plays. We have played against them twice this season, so I don't think there will be any big surprises for either team. But we have to make some small adjustments, I think, and watch a lot of video on Berlin to be completely sure of what they're doing the entire time.
And I mean, go ahead, Martin. Sorry.
No, I'm changing the subject here because, now I'm giving you a compliment, Niclas. That also doesn't happen that often, but I think you've been playing really well in terms. But I think you had a very great season also personally, and looking at, maybe for Rhein-Neckar Löwen, the goals that you set as a team, probably you didn't fulfill those, but you were as a player, and that's also why you're going to Flensburg next season. But you're also a team player and a kind of player, as we said earlier, that if the coach asks you to put you in a certain position, then you're gonna play there and do your best. You probably had the question a lot, but how is it for you, to have such a big role for your club team on the right back position? And because Denmark has so many great players on your position, then sometimes you play the right wing, and then they use your strength in the defense. So you have to kind of adjust your game a little bit for whenever you play for Rhein-Neckar, and then also for Denmark.
Yeah, it's something different, of course, and it's not something I'm used to. I didn't do it before the World Championship last year, so it's still a bit new to me, and I'm still not, I would say, not the greatest at shooting from the wing, but I'm still learning. But no, I think it's cool, and I also like to do the defense in the. So Matthias can get a little break in the defense, and I also they also use me a lot to come into the field to get some, so I can use my strength as a shooter a little bit in there as well, and maybe make some more space for the other guys. So of course I get a lot more chances on the wing than in the field, but. Yeah, it's just such a great team, so I'm really just happy to be able to contribute in any way I can.
So you're basically the reverse Víctor Tomàs, because he always says that he's an underused right back.
But I was
Exactly.
the same kind of player as Niclas, but I just don't know what nobody used me as a right back.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, fair enough.
But is it like Niclas? Whenever you train in Rhein-Neckar, you never train, shots from the right wing. It's primarily only when you're with the national team that's, you get in the situations where you shoot from the right wing, because otherwise, you have Reichmann and Goetzky.
Yeah.
And
But
Jon also.
yeah, after the training, I do it sometimes.
Okay.
In the past years, I've been doing a little bit, but when we train, then of course I'm only on the back. So in match situations, I don't play at the wing at all.
Because when he shoots from the wing, the goalkeepers are a little bit scared,
Yes, it's a great advantage for me. Emil Nielsen, when we are at the national team, always says, "Don't let Niclas shoot. Don't let Niclas shoot." And I don't think it's because I'm good at the wing, but he's probably a little bit scared of me.
Fair enough. But I actually want to come back to the topic that Martin just opened, because rightly so, he said that you had a quite alright to a good season, and in German media, Stefan Kretschmer actually just recently said that probably with a transfer already in mind, you could play up a little more freely. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't think that have a great influence on how I play right now. I think I still want to do great here at the Löwen for the last couple of weeks for me. As I said, I've been here a long time and I want to have a good ending here. I have loved it down here in the south of Germany, but so of course I want to do my very best until the end. But yeah, maybe of course I have been able to play a little bit more freely the entire season. I don't know. I haven't thought that much about that. I've just been trying to do my thing. Since I didn't have to play for a new contract the next season. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't need to talk too much about your future teammates by now. We will get to that in a little bit. But let's talk about a current teammate in the national team that we have been pulling out as the key factor for Füchse Berlin. It is Matthias Gidsel. He's the EHF World Player of the Year. What can you tell your teammates about him?
Yeah, he's hard to stop. I think.
Just say it. He's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, for real. And we have felt that every time we play against him in the Bundesliga as well. It's so difficult to do anything because he can. Yeah, he's good at one against one, and he can also shoot. I think he's quite good at that. And also in the defense, he is also really good. I think so. Yeah, he's a real good all-round player, and as you say, the best in the world. So it's going to be real difficult, and we have to be real observant about him in the entire match, I think. And a lot of our tactics is revolving around how we will stop him.
Yeah, fair enough. But regarding the draw, you actually already said that it's probably not the easiest draw that you got. Would you have wished for another one?
Yeah, I think it's the worst for us. We haven't beaten Füchse in years now. We beat Flensburg a couple of times last season, so it would have been better for us. But and Bucharest, I think also I haven't played against them, but I think it all would be better than Füchse. But if we want to win, we have to beat everyone, so we can start in the semi-final.
Yeah, fair enough. Go ahead, Martin.
No, I just want to say, as you said earlier, if they can beat Sporting and, Víctor did the math, in some way, if Rhein-Neckar can see it as a benefit being the underdogs, maybe they can play without the pressure, and the pressure will be on Füchse Berlin. I don't know if they can benefit from that in this weekend, because it's 2 games where you have to give it all, but they know how it is from the cup also, the DHB Pokal in Germany. And the thing is about the players from Füchse Berlin, there are a lot of great players. And as I said earlier, maybe it's not about stopping Gidsel in total, but it's about, getting him in situations where his shooting percentage is not 80% or higher as it is in the Bundesliga, maybe doing some technical mistakes. It's the same with Lasse Andersson. He's been phenomenal also for Berlin this season. Maybe Kirkeløkke know a little bit of stuff from the Danish players from Berlin, but it also goes the other way around, that probably they know a little bit or two about Niclas. And it's those matches where they played so many times against each other that it's going to be the details that's going to, for me, I think, who's going to win is the small details in the end, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I think that we need to keep in mind that this kind of competitions at this point of the competition, it's do or die. And this factor, the teams are not playing with this kind of pressure during the whole competition. So now at this point, maybe it's a little bit more pressure for Fuchs Berlin in the semifinal against Löwen, because they know everybody expects them to win the competition. And I think that Rhein-Neckar Löwen, you can play completely freely, because actually if you lose that game, of course, it's very sad for you as a team because you want to win. But it's what everybody expects, actually. So this mental factor, in my opinion, it's really important.
Yeah.
100%. But talking about the mental factor, then we cannot exclude the season that you guys had, because I was actually wondering, last season was a quite alright until good season, because you finished 5th in the Bundesliga, you won the domestic cup. What happened that you dropped down that far in the Bundesliga?
We changed. We had a lot of new players on the team, and a lot of our core players from last year switched away from our team. So, I think we underestimated a little bit how much work we had to do about getting everyone to know the concept at the same level as we did last season. And I think that was the primary reason. And we lost players. That Albin Lagergren was phenomenal for us last season. He was maybe the best player on our team, if not in the Bundesliga. I play in a whole nother different style of handball than he does, so we had to change a lot to fit it a little bit more for me. So it was a lot of work in the off season, and I don't think we got entirely the entire wave, but we tried, and it is sometimes like that in handball.
Yeah, we have said something about the playing style of Rhein-Neckar Löwen before. Actually, I said something about it. You that have been playing in Rhein-Neckar Löwen with Andy Schmidt as well, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And now it's, let's say, you ignore time in Rhein-Neckar Löwen since Andy Schmidt went to Switzerland. Do you think that there is still a lot of the Andy Schmidt style in Rhein-Neckar Löwen type of playing?
No, I don't think. Of course, Yuri learned something from Andy. He played Andy's last season. They played together in Löwen, so he of course learned something from Andy. But Sebastian Hinz has another way of playing handball.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
What?
Sorry to interrupt. I don't mean that Yuri and Andy play the same. I say that as a handball style, Rhein-Neckar Löwen is still playing the same style, that the ball, it's a lot of time in the hands of the playmaker and everything goes through the playmaker.
Yeah, of course it does, also because Yuri does really great and played a good season also last year and this year. But I still think that we play pretty different than when Andy was here. I think we play with a lot more speed than we did in these seasons. But of course, we have a lot of systems still, and the playmaker has the ball a lot, which is similar to what Andy did when he was here.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about club legends, one cannot get past Uwe Gensheimer, who is actually just playing his last season. Is that kind of an extra motivation or boost that is given to the team to maybe even play for him, to win this trophy for him?
Yeah, of course, it would be great if he could finish in style. But I think we would have the motivation anyways. We always want to win titles, and that's why we play. But it would be great if he could end on such a note.
Was there something that you could learn specifically from Uwe?
Yeah, he just takes a lot of pressure off, I think, because he has tried so much. So he's good at talking to the guys in the team about how we're doing, and we just have to maybe chill a little bit sometimes because everything will be all right in the end, no matter what. So he has a good influence on the team. He's good at sharing his experiences and doing what he learned from his whole handball career.
Yeah.
So you didn't learn how to shoot from the wing position yet, like him.
No, but the last 3 weeks I'm gonna ask him a lot of things.
Okay. How
But I don't
to
have
dislocate?
the same wrist as he has, so
Oh my
it might be a little bit difficult.
But he told us it's the shoulder. It's the shoulder.
Okay.
Then enough of looking back. Then let's have another little look out into your personal future, because you will be one of numerous Danes in your new employee. How did you end up at Flensburg?
I think when they took contact, it was a no-brainer for me. It's a great club, and it's so close to where I come from. My family, my girlfriend, my friends are all really near, and so that's a big bonus. But yeah, it's a great club, and all the players they have now, the team is great, I think. So I just hope that we can play where it's really fun next year and the next seasons also. So I think, yeah, it was a no-brainer for me.
And I mean, talking about heritage here, there's one thing that I always stumble upon. It is your background at GOG, and you're not the only one in Flensburg who has a background in GOG. What is it that connects GOG to Flensburg so closely?
Yeah, I don't know. It has always been like that. It's almost our old team from last time I played in GOG. It's all the same guys. It's gonna be real fun. But I don't know it. People, the guys in GOG has always had a wish to go to Flensburg, I think, and Flensburg have just taken all the good players from GOG. So it's a two-way relationship.
I think also, if you look at it sports-wise, then of course Flensburg is a club with the history that is used to play in the top of the Bundesliga and also play European tournaments. And as Niclas also said, from the guys also, as I spoke with in Flensburg, there is playing for Flensburg at the moment, is like personal-wise, there are more sexier cities than Flensburg in Europe. Yes. But when it comes to living in Flensburg and having, you can drive 1.5 hours, and then Niclas is home where he's from normally. Yeah. And in terms of that, with families, girlfriends, friends, just in general, then you can actually have some days where you can train in Flensburg and then go by car back. And, that mix of being a person outside the court, I think that means a lot. So in terms of fulfilling your sports goals and also personal wise, I think Flensburg is probably not one of the best fit for Danish players. I know Barcelona is sexier, Víctor, and probably Paris is also sexier, but it's the package with everything. And I think that's one of the answers also, that GOG goes there, and the fast playing style, it suits a lot of players coming from GOG to Flensburg as well. And especially with Kirkeløkke being the coach, then they're probably going to run a lot.
Yeah, exactly like you said. It's so close to my entire family, and I really enjoyed it down in South Germany. And I actually enjoyed being far from home, but now I've tried that for 5 years, and now I just feel I'm missing my family, I'm missing my friends. So that means a lot to me as well, and now I can feel that, okay, I want to be closer to them and also spend time with them.
Cool. And that's where I would say that's a look into the far future, but the close future is a little more important at the minute. And just get your focus there, and let's wish you best of luck that you achieve your goals for Rhein-Neckar Löwen for the last time. Yeah, fingers crossed there. And thank you for joining us here, Niclas.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
It's actually no secret. I actually wanted to ask Niclas about that. Who is the best player he ever played with? And I know who he would answer. It's probably going to be me, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Martin Vilstrup, as humble as ever.
I'm sure he would say me. So if we get him on another time, he would probably.
Probably. And I mean,
I have to make up for the comment about Víctor. You know, if I could have made it far if I went as a line player. So I wanted to back it up here with Kirkeløkke.
Where did you guys actually play together?
In GOG.
I mean, he said for a reason that it's almost the whole squad that he brought back together at Flensburg right now, and not everyone was able to go down there. But I mean, you're still able to talk about it. That's great here as well. But as Martin loses his humility, we are having a look at a very humble Niclas Kirkeløkke here. But still with goals in this EHF Finals event. Did your impressions change a little, or are you guys still saying that Fuchs are going through?
I think exactly the same. The big favorites in that game are Fuchs Berlin, and I think he knows it. He actually said it out loud, and that's okay to do that, you know. I think that everybody arrives to this Final Four knowing what are their strengths and their weaknesses, and I think it's okay to say it out loud, and still Berlin is the favorite.
Yeah.
No matter how much I like Niclas, then I still think that Fischer Berlin are the favorites. And if we look at from Rhein-Neckar Löwen, maybe it's going to be more fun if they win as the underdogs than, you know, just being the favorites, because then they're making the surprise. And Víctor said it a lot of times, it's sports. So let's see what's going to happen. But I'm going to also stick with my prediction.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I mean, that should be enough for a lookout. It is gonna be a tough weekend that is coming in, but I am looking forward to it as much as you guys are looking forward to what is happening right now. And well, don't punch me, Martin. Don't punch me. You you have to go to the opposite direction, because well, now you're small down here. Now you can go and have your little fight and clinch, because we are gonna go for another round of Who Am I here prior to the EHF finals of the EHF European League men, and I am gonna give you guys hints for a certain player, and whoever raises his hand first may have a guess. If you guess it right, you get the point. If you guess it wrong, the opponent gets the point. So far for that, the rules are clear. Boys, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, yes. I was born ready.
Born ready here. All right. Then let's start it here. My name was dropped in this episode. All right. So you guys, let's see how much you have been paying attention here.
I'm wondering here how much you prepared to remember to put the name in at some point in the last hour.
yeah. Well, I prepared myself here. My team is playing this upcoming weekend. Alrighty. Next hint for you. My position, left wing. None of you brave enough yet?
I got it. Here.
You wanna try? You wanna try?
No.
All right. That's probably clever. Because I am telling you now that I was part of the first German team to win the EHF Champions League. And that will bring you completely off guard. I love it. And actually, this time for real, it's the left wing.
It's not a right wing?
No. This time for real. I played for Spandau, Gummersbach, and Magdeburg.
Left wing.
What?
Magdeburg.
Now I'm completely out.
I ended my career.
Can you go back a little bit? The other hint before this last one.
The one there. I was part of the first German team to win the EHF Champions League. Do you mean that one?
Yeah.
All right.
I lost all my names here.
Good on you. I ended my career in 2007.
I go.
Víctor, Tomàs.
Stefan Kretschmer.
Today I work. Martin, no swearing here.
Yeah, sorry.
Today,
I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Today I work for German media, and as a sports director, I raised a world-class beach handball player. Víctor Tomàs will never forget the jersey I gave him, and I will never forget the injury that he gave me. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stefan Kretschmer.
Martin will never forget this night.
But you guys had Uwe on the tongue, right?
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah, I had. When you said left wing, I had Tolbring as well, but yeah.
Uwe and Emil Jakobsen. That was because I thought it was an active player, so it has to be one from the 3 teams.
Yeah,
I thought you can think.
Okay. I'm gonna stop being a gentleman now. No more gentleman favors here. For the next episode, I'm gonna,
I'm back in business, and I'm back on the top. I'm leading now.
You are. It is 6-5. It is 6-5. But I know who is not 6-5.
Don't get too comfortable. Last time you dropped it off there.
Yeah, fair enough. And last time, Martin, you started a streak, but that streak is back to Víctor Tomàs. Great. I like the segment. That's great. Cool.
I'm gonna have a great night.
Cool.
Out of words for now.
We are going to release you into that great night now because it has been quite some long time now already. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, boys, for your time late in the evening Wednesday night. And that's where I would say make yourselves a great EHF Finals weekend. And we'll hear each other again next week when it's time to talk handball again.
Ball across the Dylan. He double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again. Yes.
And Magdeburg are the champions of Europe. What a game.